was there, just standing there like every other woman. Well, no, worse, because I didn't know what the hell I was there for. But I thought maybe I could get a part or a job somehow, and they cast me.
Diane Keaton has charmed audiences for decades with her quirky, lovable, and endearingly scattered persona. We think we know her as the iconic Annie Hall, the warm matriarch, or the bubbly, wine-loving friend. But behind that infectious laugh and eccentric style lies a life of shocking secrets, fierce private battles, and controversial stances that would stun most of her fans. The woman America fell in love with has been hiding a story of survival, addiction, and defiance that is far more complex and compelling than any role she has ever played. What if the image we all know is just a carefully constructed mask? It all began when she was just 21 years old, a young actress on the verge of a breakthrough, when a doctor delivered a diagnosis that would change the course of her life forever. It was skin cancer. This wasn't a simple, one-time scare that could be easily forgotten. It was the first shot in a war that she would be forced to fight for the rest of her life. While her peers were chasing auditions and celebrating their first taste of fame, Keaton was confronting her own mortality, forced into a battle against a relentless disease that would reappear time and time again, leaving both physical and emotional scars. This early confrontation with her health would instill a sense of vulnerability that followed her throughout her career, even as she was projected onto screens as a confident, unflappable star. The terrifying diagnosis wasn't just a stroke of bad luck, it was a chilling echo of a family curse. As Keaton later revealed, the disease ran deep in her bloodline. Her father had battled basal cell carcinoma, and her brother had it too. But the most horrifying story came from her auntie Martha, who suffered from a form of skin cancer so aggressive and destructive that doctors were forced to remove her entire nose. This visceral, terrifying family story transformed Keaton's diagnosis from a personal health issue into a looming hereditary threat. It wasn't a matter of if it could get worse, but a terrifying reality of how bad it could become, a constant reminder of what she was fighting against. Suddenly, her most iconic fashion choices took on a completely new meaning. The wide-brimmed hats, the chic turtlenecks, the high collars, they weren't just the quirky affectations of an eccentric artist. They were her armor. After undergoing multiple surgeries to remove cancerous and precancerous cells from her face, Keaton became obsessive about sun protection. Her signature style was born from necessity, a practical shield to protect her vulnerable skin from the sun's damaging rays. She cleverly transformed a medical imperative into a legendary fashion statement, a testament to her ability to turn a story of pain and fear into one of strength and enduring style, all while hiding the grim reality behind it. But while she was waging a visible war against cancer, she was simultaneously hiding a far more insidious and destructive secret, a demon she battled in complete silence. For 5 long years, during the height of her ascent to fame, Diane Keaton was in the grips of severe bulimia. This wasn't a passing phase or a struggle with body image. It was, in her own words, a full-blown addiction that completely consumed her. The disease became the central organizing principle of her life, a compulsive secret that controlled her every waking thought and dictated her private actions, all while she masterfully projected an image of effortless cool to the outside world. The trigger for this devastating spiral was something painfully common in the world of entertainment: a single, casual comment. While working on the Broadway production of Play It Again, Sam, a director, told the then 22-year-old actress that she should lose 10 pounds for the role, as her costume was designed for someone thinner. That seemingly minor critique sent her into a tailspin of self-hatred and obsession. The pressure to be thin unlocked a deep-seated insecurity that quickly morphed into a dangerous, all-consuming disorder. It was a stark example of how the industry's casual cruelty can inflict deep, lasting wounds, setting a young, vulnerable actress on a path of self-destruction. From that moment on, Keaton began living a shocking double life. To the world, and even to those closest to her, like her then-partner Woody Allen, she was a disciplined, rising star. But in secret, her nights were filled with a ritual of massive binges followed by purging. She later confessed to the sheer scale of her addiction, revealing she would sometimes consume up to 20,000 calories in a single sitting. She would eat a bucket of fried chicken, several cartons of ice cream, a whole cake, and multiple bags of candy, all in a desperate attempt to feed a hunger that was emotional, not physical. This life of deception was a lonely, tormenting existence, creating a profound split between her public success and her private hell. After 5 years of this grueling, hidden battle, she finally reached a breaking point. The emotional and physical toll became unbearable, and she realized that if she didn't get help, the disorder would eventually destroy her. It was a profound moment of clarity in which she admitted she was powerless over her addiction. She finally sought out a therapist, beginning the long and arduous process of untangling the psychological roots of her bulimia. It took years of work to overcome the compulsive behavior and begin to heal her relationship with food and with herself. A recovery journey that she has since described as one of the most difficult challenges of her life. In an industry where clinging to youth is a religion, Diane Keaton made another shocking and defiant choice. She swore off plastic surgery entirely. As her contemporaries began to erase their wrinkles with fillers, facelifts, and Botox, Keaton stood firm, embracing the natural process of aging with a rare and unapologetic grace. This decision has made her an anomaly in Hollywood, a star who refuses to conform to the impossible beauty standards that dominate the industry. Her choice has been both celebrated as an act of empowerment and scrutinized by critics who see it as a career risk. But for Keaton, it was another assertion of her fierce independence. Her refusal to conform extended to her personal life as well. Despite having legendary romances with some of the most famous and desired men in Hollywood, including Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, and Al Pacino, Keaton never once walked down the aisle. She's been candid about the reasons why, explaining that her deep-seated need for autonomy and her anxieties about the compromises of marriage made it feel like an impossible commitment. She admitted she was never willing to give up her own life for a man, and the idea of being a wife felt like a role she was simply unwilling to play, choosing her own freedom over a traditional partnership. But her desire for a family remained strong. So, at age 50, long after her high-profile relationships had ended, Keaton made another trailblazing decision. She became a mother on her own terms. She adopted her daughter, Dexter, in 1996, and later, her son, Duke, in 2001. As a single mother in her 50s, she once again defied Hollywood conventions, proving that family and fulfillment didn't have to follow a traditional script. Her children became the center of her universe, providing a sense of love and purpose that she had never found in a romantic relationship. However, not all of her unconventional stances have been so universally celebrated. In the wake of the Dar Me Too movement, Keaton sparked a firestorm of controversy with her unwavering defense of her longtime friend and collaborator, Woody Allen. As allegations against him resurfaced and much of Hollywood turned its back, Keaton took to Twitter to publicly declare her support, writing, "Woody Allen is my friend and I continue to believe him." This statement drew immediate and fierce backlash, with many accusing her of being out of touch and of betraying the very women who were fighting to be heard. But Keaton has refused to back down, a decision that has threatened to cast a shadow over her legacy. Adding to her mystique, Keaton has been remarkably open about her choice to live a life of solitude, revealing in interviews that she has been celibate for many years. She speaks about it not with a sense of sadness or regret, but with a matter-of-fact acceptance, explaining that she simply lost interest in romantic pursuits. For a star of her magnitude, this level of candor is almost unheard of. It's another powerful example of her refusal to be defined by traditional expectations, finding contentment and joy in her work, her children, her friendships, and her own company, without needing a partner to feel complete. What many people don't realize is that beyond the silver screen, Keaton has quietly built a small but impressive empire in a completely different field, real estate. She has a deep passion for architecture and design and has spent decades buying, renovating, and flipping historic homes across California. This isn't just a hobby, it's a serious and lucrative business. She has published books on architecture and is known for her impeccable taste and keen eye for design. This hidden career reveals a sharp entrepreneurial side to Keaton that contrasts sharply with her often ditzy on-screen characters, proving she is a woman of many and surprising talents. Beneath all of these layers, the iconic actress, the cancer survivor, the fashionista, the controversial friend, lies a woman who has privately struggled with severe anxiety for her entire life. She has admitted that this undercurrent of anxiety has profoundly shaped many of her most significant life decisions. It fueled her insecurities, contributed to her eating disorder, and influenced her reluctance to marry. The bubbly, sometimes chaotic energy she's famous for may, in fact, be an outward manifestation of a lifelong internal turmoil, a constant battle to find peace and stability in a world that often felt overwhelming. From a life-threatening diagnosis at 21 to a secret eating disorder that nearly consumed her, and from her controversial loyalties to her defiant choice to live without a partner, Diane Keaton's life has been anything but the breezy comedy it often appears to be. She is a survivor, an artist, and a fiercely independent woman who has faced down demons both public and private. Her story is not just one of Hollywood glamour, but of a gritty, relentless fight for self-acceptance and the freedom to live on her own terms, leaving us to wonder what other untold stories she still holds behind that enigmatic smile.